Well, just before I go for my walk and get my first lot of 300 particles for today, I first need to spend some so I can get some more. And of all the Gigantamax Rillabooms that I caught this weekend, there's only one here that actually has 15 attack. This is it here. I've named it 15 attack. As you can see, the defense and HP is bad, but that's okay. It's an attacker. So this is the one I'm going to be putting all my max particles into because Gigantamax Rillaboom is going to be the #1 attacker for Gigantamax Inteleon, which is coming out this weekend. And naturally, because it's what I do when I can, we're going to make this one a level 50. Collect my 300. So sit tight, I'm going to go for a walk, get my next lot of particles, and very shortly I'm going to tell you why I think Gigantamax Inteleon might be the easiest duo ever. Okay, so now I'm back home. We've done our walk, we've done the rest of our particles, collected the 300 as well as the 800 from a power spot, and going back to our Rillaboom, the last max move that I actually want to max out before this weekend is going to be this. Max Guard. So if you haven't seen it already, myself, one queen and a friend of ours managed to successfully trio Gigantamax Cinderace on the weekend just gone. I also made a video prior to that stating that Cinderace was the easiest Gigantamax battle that we've seen yet. I was also surprised to learn that despite our best efforts in not being able to successfully complete the duo, there are actually videos out on YouTube at the moment showing in a few instances where the duo was actually possible. This meant that using a very specific tactic heavily depended on RNG as well, because what type of moves and how often Cinderace was going to be throwing those moves. But for the first time ever, we were able to see a Gigantamax Pokemon taken down with only 2 trainers. And that's in a world where players are still consistently failing with groups of 20 or even 40 if enough of them are unprepared. Now firstly, I want to thank Raphael for sharing the stats in my comments section of a previous video, but it was interesting to know that one of the reasons why Cinderace was so much easier than the rest is it actually had a lower HP, which Raph reported it to be at 90,000, which in comparison to Rillaboom was 130,000 HP. So before the battle even starts, we're starting off with a Gigantamax boss that already has about 30% less health than the boss that we fought just before it. The other reason why I think Cinderace might have been so easy too is that the move pool or the move sets that it had available was less diverse. It only having access to 3 moves: Flame Charge, Flamethrower and Focus Blast, 2 fire and a fighting. It meant that it made it easier to be able to re-roll for the moveset that you wanted if you did have one that you struggled against. But at the same time, these moves that Cinderace had actually provided poor coverage for some of the best counters that were able to serve as not only strong attackers but also kind of decent tanks. So with that, moving on to Inteleon. Inteleon's going to be a pure water type, which is only weak to grass and electric. And just like Cinderace, it also has a move pool that's, well, not really doing Inteleon any favors, I'll be honest. But despite its move pool, as a Gigantamax one, it actually has the highest attack stat available for water type attackers, so this now becomes the best water type attacker for all Gmax battles, over and above Kingler, which is currently king, and it's going to stay in that position for quite a long time. It's no wonder we didn't have it last week. Would have made those battles really easy. And because the stats are so heavily focused on its attack, both its defense and stamina statistic in Pokemon Go is actually really quite low. And the best counters that you're absolutely going to be wanting to use for tanks, #1, and I'm going to continue to stand by this to my grave, but we have even more reason to use it now, Blissey. #1 tank for sure. Even when Cinderace had Focus Blast last week, the amount of damage that Blissey would take from that one move that it was weak to was comparable to the damage taken from other counters that we used that were resistant to it. With Blissey, you want to use the fast move Pound. Other excellent options for tanks are going to be Venusaur, use Vine Whip, Blastoise, Gigantamax or Dynamax. In the tanking phase, they both function the same. There's no better. Blastoise, you want to use Bite or Water Gun. With Lapras, you also want to use Water Gun. And then we also have Kingler with either the fast moves Metal Claw or Mud Shot. Gigantamax or Dynamax Rillaboom can also be counted as a tank as well, but if you're going to have it on the team, best to preserve it as long as you can so that you can use it during the attacking phase, because Gigantamax Rillaboom sits as the #1 top attacker for Gigantamax Inteleon. Gigantamax Rillaboom will need the fast move Scratch. A few other excellent options for attackers are going to be Gigantamax Toxtricity, which is going to be my second option, especially if it's raining. Weather boosts do count, so raining in your area, use your electric types. If you don't have Toxtricity, Dynamax, Zapdos or Raikou would serve excellent here as well. Both Zapdos or Raikou will need Thunder Shock. On Zapdos, it's a legacy move, so you may need an elite TM. And then of course we also have Gigantamax Venusaur to use as another excellent option. Now until Inteleon actually comes to these battles, we're not actually going to know how hard it actually hits. And no joke, with the attack stat as high as it is, I do expect it to be hitting pretty hard. But if its HP stat remains in the same realms of what we had with Cinderace last week, I'm calling it now. this is going to be an easy duo, and I'm really looking forward to giving this a go when it drops here on Saturday morning. The team will both be using, I'm sure as you know already, I'm a huge fan of Blissey and what it can do, not just for these, but almost any and all Gigantamax max battles going forward. Blissey really is the #1 tank, and the Rillaboom that we just powered up in this video for the attack phase, unless it's raining. They're not going to Toxtricity. So if that's something that you'll be interested to see, don't forget to sub to the channel, turn on your notifications, because we're going to do that first thing Saturday morning. But until then, I wanted to let you know that I've almost got my Discord server up and running, so as soon as that's live, the link to the server will be in my bio. And I again want to give a massive thank you to all of the channel members. You choosing to support me on this platform the way that you do helps me more than you'll ever know. And with that, don't forget the Instrumental Wonders event finishes on Wednesday at 8 PM. So if you're seeing this video on Tuesday, you've got Tuesday and Wednesday to collect up to 3,600 particles to use towards powering up your best counters for Gigantamax Inteleon this weekend. Best of luck on the hunt, and look forward to seeing you in the next one.